Welcome to the Family Brand Show. We're Chris and Melissa Smith of FamilyBrand.com, husband and wife, parents of 5, and we want to help you take back your family and to live life on your terms.
And we know being a family can feel really overwhelming. Parents tell us they feel like they're being pulled in a million different directions. It's so challenging to navigate the uncertainty and all the chaos that's happening in the world right now.
And that's why we want to bring you every single week actionable tips and strategies that you can implement in your daily life to become a better parent, to become a better spouse, and to build a stronger family. And look, there's never been a better time and a more important time than right now to take back your family. You can define what your family stands for, or the world is going to do it for you. And the world needs strong families now more than ever. And it starts right here with your family.
Today on the Family Brand podcast, I have Angie Killian, and I'm really excited to have this conversation with you, Angie. I heard one of your songs. So Angie is a songwriter and composer, and she writes songs for Christians around the world. And I first heard one of Angie's songs a few years ago. It was at a baptism. And when I heard the song, I actually started crying. I was like, this song is so beautiful. And I even had the thought, like right then, I should have her on the podcast. And here we are, like several years later, and I saw another piece of Angie's, and I was reminded, like, I wanted to have her on the podcast. So I reached out right then and invited Angie, and she graciously agreed to come be my guest today. So I'm really excited to talk to you about your work today, Angie. Welcome.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
So as I mentioned, Angie is a songwriter, composer, and I would just love to, I feel like your story, what I know of it, is very inspiring, particularly for families and for moms. And so I'd love to just maybe dive right in at the beginning into your story, your inspiration of how you became a songwriter and composer in the first place.
Yeah. No, that story goes back about 30 years. I grew up taking piano lessons and playing the piano. I have 4 brothers. None of them played the piano, but for some reason, my parents thought it was important when I was about 6 to get our family a piano. And at the time, we were just moving into a new home, and the budget was kind of tight. We had been building this home ourselves for a number of years, and we would build it like nights and weekends. And so it came down to, do we put like nicer countertops in the kitchen, like granite or, something that, durable, something that would last? Or do we buy a piano for the family? They had like a little room in the front where they thought they would put a piano, and they kind of had to decide between the two. And my mom chose to buy a piano and put Formica in the kitchen. It's been there for 30 years, and they still have the same Formica countertops in the kitchen and the same piano in the front room, which is tender. So I took lessons for a number of years, and then kind of got to high school and kind of thought that maybe music was not my future, because I didn't know how to, make a career with music or anything like that. So I was also really good at mathematics. I was a Sterling Scholar. I was the top math student in my high school. So I went to college and I studied math education, and I hated it, actually. And I never even finished my degree. I think I was like 3 semesters away, but I left to try to figure out what it was that I wanted to do, and ended up working and putting my husband through school, and then had babies. And that's kind of where the story picks up. After I had my second child, I was kind of in the pits of like postpartum depression, just super, super dark, shadowy place. No self-love, no self-worth. And it was really the hardest time of my life for me was after my second child was born. And then there was one night that came, and my daughter was a terrible sleeper. So she would wake up every 2 hours to eat around the clock until she was weaned.
Oh my God.
Oh, it was exhausting. It was so hard. But I was like rocking her back to sleep. And for not the first time that night, by the way, I should add, for probably the second time that night, I was rocking her back to sleep. And I usually would sing her songs, when she was a baby. I mean, that's probably why she loves to sing now, but I would sing her songs when she was a baby. And one night, this particular night, I heard a melody in my mind that I didn't recognize. And so I made up some words to go with the melody, and I sang a little song to this child, this very unsleepy child. And the song itself wasn't important. It's not a song that I share with people, or you can find on my website or my YouTube channel or anything like that. But what was important was a little light that I felt in my soul, and I wanted to feel that all the time. It was almost like, have you heard this statistic that says that a single candle in absolute darkness can be seen without accounting for the curvature of the earth. So without that, just a single light in complete darkness can be seen for 30 miles away.
Wow.
Miles. Yeah, and that's kind of what that little light was to me. It was just this teeny tiny little light in the beginning, just, 30 miles away. But I wanted to be closer to me. I wanted it to be brighter. I wanted it to burn brighter because I loved the way that felt. It was a feeling that I don't think I'd felt for quite a few months at the time. And so I decided kind of the next day and in the coming days that I was going to write songs for my children. I had an infant child and a 2-year-old at the time. And so really that was my market. That was my focus, was to write these songs for my 2 little ones and then any future little ones that we would join to our family. But that was what it was. It was kind of a decision. Like, you were going to write music for them. You're going to teach them about Jesus and stories in the scriptures and about faith and about love and all these things. I just started writing like every day, and I can tell you that they all kind of were terrible at the beginning. Like, it was definitely not as easy. I think when I decided I was going to write, that I thought it was going to just come naturally and just kind of flow from me. It turns out that I had a ton to learn, and so I started learning. That was the beginning, was just learn as much as I could.
And so was this, at this point in your life, had you dabbled in writing music prior, or was this really the first time?
I
Yeah.
had written one song in high school that no one has ever heard, and I won't share it with anyone, but it was like, like an angsty,
Mhm.
in high school. I don't know why. The guitar of all things too. I don't even really play the guitar anymore, but yeah, so funny. So no, I really had no idea.
I love this is so cool. So how did you even know? I wouldn't even know. I play the piano also, and so I'm like, I wouldn't even know how to begin like writing my own music though. Like, what did that path look like for you
Um,
when you said you started learning more?
I had like so I had, a number of years playing the piano before I started writing. About 20 years playing the piano, right? So I had that foundation, which I think is really helpful. I had been around a lot of music, especially children's music. I'd been around a lot. And then in high school, bless my teacher's heart, but I did take one music theory class in my entire life, and it was in high school. I took AP music. And I only took it because a friend, actually a boyfriend of mine, asked me to take this class with him. And we broke up in January, and he dropped the class and I finished. So that was kind of like the base of my music theory. And so, yeah, it was a lot of theory, a lot of studying patterns in music and trends and things like that. And then really a lot of trial and error. I would write and I would share it with people who I trusted, who knew a lot more than I would, and they would give me feedback. And then I would apply that to the next thing I wrote. So I was just writing a lot.
Did it feel? I think about this sometimes because sometimes for me, posting on social media feels like a little vulnerable, a little scary. But I feel like songwriting might even be magnified even more.
Yeah, it still feels like that, actually. It still feels like that sometimes. You never know how people are gonna react to something you create, and at the beginning, especially, I feel like the songs you write feel a lot almost like children, like they grew within you and that you, like, are, sharing this new creation, this new little baby song with the world, and now they don't really feel like that as much. We still put just as much work and love or even more work and love into them. I think we're a little bit more almost detached from what other people think about them. I don't know, it's still hard, but maybe not as hard now.
Like it's a muscle that's grown the ability to detach a little bit from it.
Yeah, you have to grow some really thick skin to write songs and share them with other people. Everyone has an opinion. And music is so subjective too. Like something that really
Mhm.
resonates with you might not resonate with, a neighbor or, someone across the world. So you just never know. It's interesting.
How has your journey, writing music and sharing it initially with your family, and then with the world, how has music impacted your family? I mean, you shared with us a little bit at the beginning how your daughter loves singing. I'd love to hear more what that looks like for your family.
So at the beginning, honestly, it was kind of like I was writing music for them, but it was taking so much time. It was hard to balance. It was really tricky when my kids were 0 and 2, and then when they were 0, 2, and 4. Because we have one more little boy after that, and that was tricky. It was really hard to find time to write. It was really hard to feel like I was still a good mom, even though I spent time at the piano and with lyrics open on my phone or things like that. Because music doesn't always come in the most opportune moments. Sometimes it comes when you're not expecting it, and you just kind of have to learn to bowl, just kind of flow with it. But I can tell you that as my children have gotten older, it has been way easier, way easier. They're not as needy. They still need me, but in different ways. I'm not tying their shoes or, like buttoning up their buttons and changing the diapers and things like that. So they need me for more emotional things than necessarily
Mhm.
like the really small staples of childhood. And then also it's changed because they're way more involved now than they were when they were little. I have a lot of videos on my phone, like in my like drives and stuff of my kids when they were very small, like singing songs that I was writing. And that means a lot to me to go back and look and see my 2-year-old daughter, like, singing a song, like, that I had written, and so I know that it was a big
Yeah.
part of our life back then, but now it's even more so. I mean, back then, we would release maybe 1 song a year. Number 1, that's all we could afford, and number 2, it was just hard to find time for all of these things when they were little, but now I'm in the studio about once a month, sometimes twice a month, and my daughter's with me every time. She sings on every single one of my songs. My son sing on the majority of my songs too. And it's just so fun and so rewarding to watch them grow with this music. Kind of a cute story. I wrote a song a number of years ago called Anytime, Anywhere. And it was just a really short 2-verse song, 8 bars in each verse, just probably the shortest song I had ever written. Maybe the shortest song that's ever been written. I don't know. But a really tiny song. And I wrote that when they were 2, 4, and 6. And then now we finally released the song this year and they're 8, 10, 12. And so we added a chorus and we added a bridge and, kind of lengthened this tiny song. And it's just cute to watch how they've grown since they were 2, 4, and 6 when I wrote them this song to where they are now. It's so fun. It's so rewarding. I love how much my children love music. My daughter writes songs. She tells me she wants to grow up and be a songwriter like me. And in fact, one time last year, they had to dress up for school as it was like career day. They wanted to dress up as what they were going to be when they grew up. So my daughter put on a pair of sweats and went to school because that's what she sees her mom wearing is just all the comfy things. But no, it's a joy. I've loved watching my children grow up with this and kind of how the music creation has evolved since they've been growing.
That is so precious. I love that that she wanted to dress up like you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, legit sweats, matching sweats, top and bottom, like, oh,
It's
it's
a
so
uniform.
funny. But really, that's what we wear the majority of the time when we're just here songwriting at home, and I write with a lot of other people, and we write remotely, and so everyone's just in their pajamas, and, no one gets dressed. Yeah.
Why would you?
Why would you? Exactly.
I recently listened, it was just, in fact, yesterday, and then I finished it today. I was listening to a talk about the power of music, particularly like children's music, and how it can teach. It was Christian based, but it was like how you can teach like doctrine and teach about Jesus through music and the power of that and the power of like the recall in music for children. And I wanted to, knowing I was going to be talking with you today, I wanted to ask you about that because you primarily write music for children. That's an assumption I'm making. Is that true? Is that
No, that's true. That's true. Yep. Still my
okay?
fa I write all kinds of music, but it's still my favorite kind of music to write is children's music.
Yeah. What do you love writing about children's music, and what do you see as the power for meeting these children? Like, where are they at when they're young?
Yeah, okay. No, totally. The reason I write children's music is not just because I'm a mom, but also because I was once a child and everything that my faith needed to grow, I learned from music through songs that I was learning at church. That gave me everything I needed for my faith in God and my faith in Jesus Christ to grow. And so I've just like it's the most important part of worship is music and the most important thing we can do as parents to teach our children about God is to teach them music that praises him. Music allows our bodies to feel the spirit in ways that nothing else can do that. It's powerful and its potential for like creating long-term memories is astronomical. It's crazy when someone listens to music, every part of their brain lights up. And those memories and that music, because it's stored in such a special way, like, you can recall music that you haven't heard for 30 years.
Yeah.
You can recall that. And where, like, you couldn't recall necessarily, like, a title of a book you read or anything like that, but because of the way words and music come together at the same time, it's just powerful. I just don't think that there's a better tool that we can use as parents and teachers and grandparents to teach children about the gospel.
How do you feel like, would you have any suggestions for a family listening or a parent listening who is like, you know what, I think I could better utilize this tool in my family, but maybe just forget or get busy, or how can families better utilize the power of music in their homes?
Oh, I think it's so easy. Listen to it in the car, get your kids an Alexa, and they can ask Alexa to play music in their rooms. My daughter's she's quite the little musician. She's 10 years old now. She's so funny. But the first thing she does in the morning is she turns on her Alexa to listen to, usually it's national parks. I don't know if anyone here is a national parks fan. We love the national parks. And so yeah, or Josiah Queen, those are like her two favorites right now, or Forrest Frank, those three. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, all day long, she kind of starts her day with like music in her heart, and then she comes home and she listens to more music and she sings everywhere, and just so much fun. Another not as easy thing to do is to sign your kids up for a children's choir. Have your kids go and sing with a choir. There's not a lot of pressure when you sing in a choir. They'll take anybody, really. Have them learn to express and use their own voice with music, and singing together is also important. I mean, that needs to start at the cradle, like, really, it needs to start at the cradle. Sing to your children when they're babies, and that will help them develop a love for music. I have a little nephew who he's just a little fresh one. He's probably like 2.5 months old now. But anytime he's not happy and I'm around him, I just pick him up and I just bounce him around and I sing to him. And if I stop singing, he starts crying again. But if I keep singing, then he just hushes right up. Like, music is just such a powerful, powerful tool. And just, I think our souls really crave it even when we're tiny, tiny.
I love your thoughts. Yeah. It has me thinking, okay, yeah, how can we in the Smith family utilize music more? Because we do I'm conscious of the fact that I'm signing my kids for all the sports and like doing all the things. Sometimes they do take piano lessons, but sometimes they don't want to go to piano lessons, or they don't, you know. My one son, we actually did put him in a choir, but then it like got in the way of his football practice, which I think is fine.
And
But I'm like, no, I want them to have access to some of these things that,
right.
and not just be,
Yeah. I
football.
I know how hard that can be, because one of the choirs that my children are in on Saturday mornings from 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. And it's brutally early, and especially in the winter when it's cold and dark, no one wants to really get up and go. And then in the winter, especially, it interferes with basketball for my oldest son. And so we kind of have this rule for him that if a game interferes with choir, he can miss one game and then miss one choir and then miss one game. We kind of have to like strike that balance, because you're right. It can't be. I mean, all aspects of health are important, including physical health and social health and all these things. And so I think it's okay to strike a balance, and maybe say we're not going to be 100% at anything, but we're going to do our best at everything. We're going to show up when we can, and we're going to, make sacrifices and make adjustments and be flexible, and it's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, I love hearing how you do it in your family with the, okay, well, and every family is gonna, do what feels right for them, but it's helpful hearing what other families are doing to like navigate these
Oh, yeah.
things that we're all facing.
We only have so many hours in the day and so many wonderful things to fill it with, and you have to be able to make sacrifices and make adjustments. You can't, I don't know. It can't be a one size fits all. You've got to do what works best for your family and your priorities, and that's okay. It's going to look different for everyone.
Something you said a minute ago, I didn't plan to ask this, but it triggered this question for me. We recently, me and my three youngest kids, earlier this year, we went to a Forrest Frank concert. He was here in Phoenix, and he was so fun to listen to. And I feel like Christian music is becoming more mainstream. You mentioned before we started recording.
More mainstream.
Wait, sorry, say it again.
Even just Christianity in general is becoming way more mainstream. It's cool. It's like cool now. I love it. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask because you mentioned before we started recording that you go to Nashville and like, have you seen in real time like this trend towards Christian music becoming more mainstream and like what have you seen over the last few years? Can you speak to that a little bit?
I've seen a lot of bad things happen in the music industry. A lot of singers that started out as kind of like family artists, and now you listen to their lyrics of their latest released album, and you're kind of in shock if you actually pay attention to the words and what people are saying. So it's not that all music is going that way, but I think that the Christian music is being elevated because people are finding light and joy and peace and hope there, and those things feel good, you know? They feel really good. And with technology and media being at our fingertips, I think it's just really important as parents to help our children find that good stuff because there is good stuff. I mean, yeah, we're heading down to Phoenix in a couple of months to go see Josiah Queen, and my daughter doesn't know this yet, but she's gonna be so excited because she tells me all the time that if she could go to any concert, it would be a Josiah Queen concert. That's the top of her top 5. I think it's the most precious thing ever. She's 10. But even, yeah, my 8-year-old, my 12-year-olds, we're all just kind of on this high of just Christian music. We love filling our house with joy. And that's where we're finding it. And I love it. I think it's great. I think it's an incredible thing for this generation.
Totally. Yeah, when we were in that, I had never been to a concert like that, the Forrest Frank concert, where I was like, oh, this is basically a big like worship service over there.
Yeah, without the really long bridges, right? That's the
Yeah.
difference between CCM and worship is really, 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 really long bridges. Yep.
I like you said, I'm glad that our children have access to this in a way that I don't feel like I ever did.
No, it wasn't cool when we were young, right? I mean, I'm in my mid-30s. I couldn't tell you who were the big Christian artists back then. I just listened to what my parents listened to, and it wasn't CCM. I don't even think was that even a thing in the 90s? I don't even know.
I don't know. And what is the acronym CCM?
Contemporary Christian music.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And how would you recall?
good music, yeah, it's different.
Okay. Yeah, I like it.
So that's where you'd put Kane and Josiah Queen and Forrest Frank and Lauren Daigle probably I'd put her with worship. Her bridges are super long usually.
And is that like how you differentiate sometimes between the two is like the bridges?
No, that's not the only way, but that's one of the biggest ways. Yeah. For me,
Yeah. There's so much about this I don't even know.
yeah. Worship music's usually a lot more repetitive. The bridges are super long and like echoey. Usually the recordings they sound like they happen live.
Okay.
So like Hillsong, all of those things
Mhm.
that would be worship.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a favorite song that you've
Do you
ever
song that I've ever written? No.
Yes.
I always give the same answer. My favorite song is whatever I'm currently writing. So there you go. I feel like that's how life is. You just find the joy in front of you, and you can't always look back. You can't always look forward, but just find the best and find the favorite things now.
I love that. And you mentioned before we recorded that some of your most popular music is your holiday music. Can you tell us coming into the holidays, maybe tell us a little bit more about that?
I love writing music for holidays, and I think part of the reason why it's so rewarding is because a lot of times that's the music people actually choose to listen to or choose to teach their children's choirs or their school choirs or something is holiday music. And so it's almost more fun for me to write that because I know that more people are going to listen to it and more people are going to sing it. And so I love Christmas music. Christmas is around the corner, but before that is Thanksgiving, and I have some awesome Thanksgiving songs. Actually, one of my very most popular songs of all time is a Thanksgiving song, which I don't think anyone would guess that.
Yeah.
But I have a song called I Am Thankful that I wrote with 2 of my friends, Joelle Enerson and James Stevens. We wrote it a number of years ago. I think it was 2021. And I had COVID that morning, so I stayed home and we got together in American or in Highland, and we wrote this song over Zoom, and it has become like one of the most precious songs for me. Just so it was the first song I ever wrote with both of them. And now we're like such good friends, like friends that are become family, and I just have so many fun and memories attached to that. It's a cute song. You should go listen to that one.
That's cool. I will go listen to that one. I am thankful. I'll try and link it in the show notes too so people can find it real easy. Okay, maybe just one or two more questions. You talk about on your website, I guess you would call it your tagline says, "You're making Jesus famous one song at a time." Yeah, what can you tell us about that? I love it.
I think anybody who is a creator or puts themselves out in public eye always struggles with this balance between focusing on the Savior and trying to keep the focus on the Savior, and then people giving you attention that you don't necessarily want. And I don't want the attention. I really don't. Every time I feel like this spotlight is being shined at me, I try to pull up my imaginary mirror and reflect it right back to Jesus. Because that's where all the praise and the glory goes, is for him. So everything I write, everything I create, every email I send, I just want that to shine through. That this is all for him. This is all for him.
That's a beautiful perspective. I love that. What I'm thinking that if there's a mom or dad listening right now who maybe feels like kind of like you described towards the beginning, where, well, I actually read this on your website, so maybe I'll back up. You talk about one specific song in particular that you wrote called My Own Sacred Grove, which I love that song. And what I read on your website is like this song was coming to you in a time where you felt like, I'm not I'm pregnant, I'm not in a good spot to like be writing music. The timing's not right. If there's a parent listening, I'll just say a mom listening who feels like a calling on her heart to do something, but maybe feeling like the timing's not quite right, or I don't know if I can do this. Like, what would you say to that mom?
Oh man, before I wrote that song, I think you have to back up a little bit more, but I made a promise with God. I made this like covenant during my personal prayer and worship that if he would send me music, I would write it down, I would share it with the world. And then when the day happened that he was like, I really need you to write this song, I kind of panicked because I was pregnant with my third baby. I had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and then this baby growing in my belly, and I was so tired and I just felt so overwhelmed, and I didn't have time to give something so sacred and so special my whole heart right then. And it was kind of scary for me because I didn't want to mess that up. Like I knew that whatever would come from that was going to be something beautiful and special, and I didn't want to mess it up because I was too tired. And so I kind of told God that, like, it's not that I won't write the song for you, but can we just wait? Can we wait till the baby is born? We wait until he's sleeping through the night, which might be never, like my daughter still at the time wasn't sleeping through the night. Can we wait till he's weaned? Because that's just so exhausting and so taxing on my body. Can I wait till he's potty trained? Because man, I'm gonna have so much more time when I'm not changing diapers every 5 seconds. And can actually, even better, can we just wait till my youngest is in preschool? And that was kind of where I left it. But then the next day in my head, I hear the melody and the words, da 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 da, with the words coming with it. And throughout the day, the whole chorus just came, boom, just like that. And I still said the same thing. Can we please just wait? I can't do this right now. I can't do this right now. And the next day I start hearing these minor chords and major chords underneath that melody. And I still thought to myself, I still can't do this. Like, God, please don't make me do this right now. I just can't do it. And the next day I hear this, I don't know how this is going to pick up, but I started hearing this like twinkling thing in the piano, and I'll play that, but I don't know how it will pick up. And it went like this. And I kept just hearing that over and over again. And so that was kind of the day that I fully knew that I couldn't write this song, but I had the realization that if God needed me to do it, then he would provide a way. And so I sat down at the piano and I propped up my laptop and I turned on Daniel Tiger so my kids could learn how to share. And I found the big booming chords and I found the twinkles, and I finished writing the song 4 days later. And to this day, I'll tell you, I couldn't have done it. I could not have done that. But I know that God is a God of miracles, that he is mighty, and that two people can do anything if one of them is God.
Amen. And I didn't know we had access to the piano in front of you. I should have been asking you to like, it's this.
Well, my husband built me this desk. It's like two little, almost like side tables. This is funny. I'm explaining to you, with like butcher block across the top. So it's got like printer on one side, file, like papers I have to file on one side. And then in the middle, I've got like my laptop and then this little tray that pulls out like almost like a computer tray would pull up, but it has a keyboard on it.
And cool.
It's been the best thing to like separate this is your creation space from the rest of your house. I mean, we still have a beautiful piano in the other room too. And yeah, we're music's everywhere here, but this is kind of my little spot.
Give your space.
Yeah.
I would love to hear, you alluded to it a couple of times, just the balance and the guilt. I think this is something so many parents, I don't want to say struggle with, but it's a challenge for so many parents of the balance of being present, but also like having something important that you're working on, like music. How do you, and I think this is another one of those things that every parent just does their best, but how do you find, I don't think it's ever a balance, but what do you do to try and navigate that?
Oh man, I think you give 100% to wherever you are at the time. I mean, if you're with your family, give 100% to your family. If you're creation, give 100% to your creation. And then just balance that time, always make sure that God comes first, so family comes second, and all of these creative projects have to come after that. And even being a friend comes before this. But I will say that there's a lot of overlap between my music. It involves my children, and my children involve my music. And so for us, it's a little bit different. It's not like I'm painting in a studio and I can, go to my studio and then leave. Like music comes all the time, and it's different. I don't know. Is there a good way to have balance? I don't know. But I do know that being creative and doing this with my life has made me a much happier person. And so even though it might take some time away from my family, I feel like the me that they get when they have me is way better. A way better me than I otherwise would be.
Yeah, I think it's easy. This is my own personal opinion, to forget that sometimes, like, no, as a mom, I have things that I want to pursue too, and that's okay. Like, I don't need to, and then that can make me even a better mom and a better person and a happier person.
Totally.
Take away from anything at all, and it just
Well,
adds
and
to it.
I also just love that it shows your children that creativity is important. It shows them that they can do hard things,
Mhm.
and that they can be creators themselves. I love that my daughter really wants to be a songwriter when she grows up. And I don't think that I never thought that was a thing when I was a kid, but I love that she's been able to see her mom do something. And she's like, yep, I want to do that too when I when I grow up. It's just that it's cool. I don't know. It's good. You gotta have things that make you more than just mommy milk, please, especially when your kids are little.
Totally. Okay, we are about at time. I'm gonna ask you one more question and then leave the floor to you for any last thoughts or words. But what is next for you? Are there any particular songs or projects, collaborations that you're just so super excited about?
Goodness, I'm always excited about something. Right now, getting ready, we just recorded a song for youth. I know I told you I write children's music, and I do 90% of the time. But once a year, I write a song with a couple of my friends, Joelle and James, and then Chelsea Stevens, who's married to James. And we write a song for teenagers instead of children. And it's the hardest thing that we do, because I feel like the adversary, or for lack of a better word, is way more harsh on us and our families during that time because we're putting out something so good. But we just finished a song called Holy Road, and we're filming a video next Saturday. And it's going to be super special. It's a beautiful song. The lyrics are incredible. The music is so fun. And I'm excited about that. But I also have a couple of kid songs coming up that I'm really thrilled about. One of them is called Wonderfully Made. And one of them is just called I Believe in Jesus, which is kind of my testimony in song form. And I wrote both of those second two songs with a dear friend of mine named Katie Higley. So I'm super excited about those. I can't wait. I can't wait. It's going to be so good.
I can't wait either. Now that I feel like I just got in on like a secret. Like, what does Angie have coming out?
And actually, I should add that we're starting a new channel on YouTube, which is crazy. I don't know what we're thinking, but we're so excited about it. It is a preschool music channel, and it is for, toddlers. I would say like 0 to 6 might be like the perfect age for this channel. animated videos. We've got this like really cute animator from the Philippines who's doing our animation, and Katie Higley and Becky Willard and Monica Scott and I are kind of teamed up to do this. It's called Tiny Disciple Songs, and it will launch January 31st. Just so crazy, so exciting. It's been years in the making, and we cannot even wait. We're so thrilled.
If it's been years, it's like so soon now, like relatively
I
soon.
know. We have all this stuff to do. But it's so much fun. The music is so joyful, and it has been just a blast. And when I mentioned I was writing these songs for my kids when they were small, some of the songs that we're releasing are songs that I wrote when my kids were like little. And there was just never a place for them, because who needs a song about rainbow colors when you're, writing songs for your church children's choir,
Yeah.
So no, it's gonna be so fun. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Well, that's cool. And going back to our earlier question about like, okay, how do families utilize the music more in their homes? I'm like, okay, you just dropped so many great resources for families across so many age groups. So this
Oh yeah,
is a
yeah.
great
Reach
resource.
everybody, really.
Okay, amazing. Well, Angie, I so appreciate your time today. And not only that, but your willingness to share your gifts and your light with the world that has blessed my life, my family, and so many others. So thank you for all of that.
You're so welcome. Thanks for
Okay.
having me. So
Yeah.
you're just a joy.
Thank you, Angie. Okay, go check out Angie's work. We'll put it in the show notes. You will love it as much as I do. And we'll see you next week.
All right. So that is it for today's episode of the Family Brand Podcast.
But before you go, we have something fun for you.
Yeah. Like if you've ever wondered, okay, so how's our family culture actually doing? We've got an incredible quiz for that.
Good news, it's quick, it's free, and when you're done with that quiz, we'll even email you this awesome PDF full of practical ways to strengthen your family culture right away.
So all you have to do is go to familybrand.com/quiz, take the quiz, grab the PDF.
We'll see you next time.